Hi, I'm Allie. Join me as I show you how to make these super halo earrings featuring halo beads, super duos, and round trios. If you need any materials, go ahead and look below the video in the description, and we'll put links there to get everything back on our site. Gather up your materials and your bead on it board, and let's get started. So to begin our earrings, we are beginning with our halo beads, and we have our super duos and our round trios. I also have some tiny little 2mm bicones. 2 or 3 will work for this project. I have a 2-hole halo, meaning that it has 2 holes going the whole way through it. I like this because it's not going to flip in the design as I'm working on it. The first thing I'm going to do is put my halo and my round trio kind of in the middle. You can see how I'm spinning this to get to that outer hole, then straight through to the other side. I'm working with a size 11 needle and some green size 8 dragon thread. Coming out the end here, I'm going to add a 15, a super duo, and a 15, and I'm going to go down into the second hole of that halo bead, which is going to also go through the third hole or the outer hole of the round trio bead. From here, I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side, going through and adding a 15 with a super duo on each side, going back through as well to the opposite side here. And then we're going to repeat the same thing on the outer edge, adding in 5 more of our super duo beads and a halo between each, a 15mm, 15 between each one of them. Once you have on those 5 super duos with a 15 between each, you're going to go down to the opposite side. We're decorating the outside of the halo right now, and through the 15 super duo, 15 on the exterior. Nice tight pull, and that'll decorate that outer edge. We're going to do the same thing on this side. 5 more super duos with a 15 between each one of them. And as we do that, then we are going to connect that whole unit or that whole circle together. From here, I'm going down to the opposite side through the 15 super duo 15. And then I'm also going to go through that first line of super duos that we put on the opposite side, because it's not actually connected there to that first. So what this does is creates and starts this continuous line of my super duos and my 15s in between each. That's that starting open center, which you can change and you can make as big or as small as you want to, but we are going to step up to the secondary or the outer hole of the super duo. To do so, I'm going to one of the first super duos from the bottom where we went through and we put on the 15 super duo 15, going through here. Once I'm out through the super duo, I'm going to step up. What that means is I'm going from the smaller or the interior hole to the exterior hole, going bigger and making the project bigger. Give a nice tight pull, and that first kind of sun ray in the middle should show you and be available that it's sitting pretty much exactly the same across the board. From here, we're going to add 1 15-0, 1 super duo, and sew into the next super duo that's existing into that second hole. So we're adding between each one here a 15 and a super duo, going the whole way around the exterior of the project to get that second row in of our beads. Once we have that, we'll do one more step up and we'll get ready to add our third level as well. As you finish adding in your last 15 super duo combo, I want you to go back through the first super duo that you added in that second layer of super duos. From here, we're going to step up, going from that first hole of the row 2 super duos to the second hole. We're going to go the whole way around the outside here, adding in a 15 2mm 15 until we get back to the top and we add in a round trio. So to begin, you're doing 15 2mm 15 into the second hole of that super duo. When you want to at some point, I'll just do it now since we're on. I'm going to add my round trio, going through hole number 1 of the round trio, because the round trio has 3 holes. I'm going to one of the exterior ones and putting on 1 round trio. Now I'm going to continue around, adding in my 2mm with a 15 between each, of my next second holes of my SuperDuos from round 2. So go the whole way around your piece, adding in those crystals, sewing into the next SuperDuo. As I get back to the start now, I'm adding my last of my 15 2mm 15, and you can see I've gone back through the first 15 2mm 15, and I'm going to sew through my RoundTrio bead so that I'm coming out through that first hole that I've already sewn through. Once I'm out through that first hole, we're going to do what we did with the Halo beads, adding a 15 SuperDuo 15, and we are going to go from the bottom hole to the top hole. And see how that's just going to put that SuperDuo right on the edge. Same thing on the other side, 15 SuperDuo 15 from the outermost hole to that innermost hole again. That creates a little bit of a setting that we're going to build onto to add in a little bit more seed beads and to kind of create a second level. From here, I'm going to go back through my first 15-0 and out through the first hole of the SuperDuo. At the top of the SuperDuo, we are going to decorate it with a 15, a 2mm, and a 15-0 seed bead. Go down through the second hole of that SuperDuo towards the outer edge. Make those kind of sit and combine nicely. Add 2 more 15-0s. Sew back into hole number 1 of that same SuperDuo. And then go through the 15-0 seed bead right after that SuperDuo next to the RoundTrio. See how that just decorates and adds to that side? Coming out the top here, we are going to change the direction of the SuperDuo. So I'm going to add a 15, then I'm going to add another SuperDuo, then I'm going to add a 15 and a 2mm bead. I'm then going to add my wire guard or my wire guardian. Come down through the opposite side of the wire guardian. If you've never used one before, they're really great because they hide your thread. They also protect your thread from rubbing against your ear wires or from you losing your project out the bottom of the ear wire. I'm going to sew back into the 2mm bicone bead from the opposite direction, which is going to bring that wire guard directly over the top. Add a 15-0 seed bead and come down through the second hole of the SuperDuo. That puts that crystal and that wire guard right on the top. Add 1 more 15, sew into the 15 prior to the SuperDuo and through the SuperDuo on the left-hand side. That pulls the SuperDuo 15 combo kind of right there on top, right to the very top of the earring. Coming out the bottom of the SuperDuo, I want you to add 1 and 2 15s. Sew to the top of the SuperDuo on the left-hand side. And then we're going to make it match the other one on the other side, adding in a 15, a 2mm crystal, and a 15, and coming down. As I come down, I'm also going to go down through that second hole of the SuperDuo, as well as through the 15-0. That's after it. That completes your earring. Now, I want to reinforce the thread that's through my wire guard. So how am I getting back up there? I'm going to go back through the RoundTrio, and I'm not even going to worry right now. I'm going through that middle hole, which right now has nothing through it. If you can get to the bottom hole, that's great, but you don't really need to worry about it. Going up through the SuperDuo that's on the right-hand side. I'm going to go through then the 15-0 that sits after the SuperDuo, the 15-0 that sits before the SuperDuo at the top, up through the 15-0 and the 2mm bicone, all the way around anytime you have the wire guard. As we go around the wire guard the second time, you always want to make sure that you have no extra thread showing and that the thread shows or stays in that little U channel at the top of the wire guard. Because the wire guard is set up like a U where your thread's running in the middle and then it has 2 tubes on either side to hold the thread right in place. Coming down then, I'm going back through that 2mm bead, going back through the 15-0 after it, as well as down through the SuperDuo. Once I'm there, all I'm going to do is take my thread and needle, weave through my SuperDuo beads to get back to that starter thread, and then burn that starter thread off right there in the back. Once you have that completed, you're going to take a pair of pliers, open up your ear wire, hang your earring on. It also makes a great little pendant as well too. Close it up back to where it stopped, and that finishes off your lovely earring. Thanks so much for joining me in creating these super halo earrings. They're really simple, fun. They can be turned into a beautiful necklace as well. And you can use the design of the halo in the core to make something smaller as well too if you don't want to do that second layer. Because if you get a group of halo beads, it's even fun just to string them into a matching bracelet very simply. Remember, if you do make your own, go ahead and post the photos of them in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. We love to see everybody sharing their different colorways, designs, and change up. It really helps out the community. As always, if you haven't yet, hit that little subscribe button so you don't miss anything, and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.